Prophets created by the Prophecies.
Unforeseen by many, yet known to some, the year 2020 has given rise to what has been described as the greatest test since World War II, and one of the most challenging events humanity has ever faced. Videos from around the world saw major streets and cities dramatically transformed into entire ghost towns. The few places that were allowed to remain open rapidly sold out of doomsday survival gear. Neighborhoods all over the world seemed to be patrolled by police cars emitting the same message globally. People forcefully locked up in their homes, glued to their TV sets, waiting to hear the latest updates on the COVID-19 pandemic. Fear-mongering coming from all directions, making it almost impossible for people to escape the thought of the dreaded coronavirus. So far, 2020 has painted an eerie picture of apocalyptic scenarios that most of us never thought we'd see. Probably the closest thing to a doomsday scenario that we have ever witnessed.
One particular entity we should pay close attention to is that of the Vatican and the Pope. In April of this year, 2020, Pope Francis has shocked many by dropping his title as Vicar of Christ in the Vatican yearbook. The title Vicar of Christ stems from the Holy Scripture, where Jesus grants St. Peter the power to the keys of the Church. While previous yearbooks listed the title Vicar of Christ and the name of the reigning Pope under that title, this year will simply list the name Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the name of the man who became Pope Francis in 2013. This brings us to John chapter 5, verse 43 and 44. I have come in my Father's name, and you do not accept me, but if someone else comes in his own name, you will accept him. How can you believe, since you accept glory from one another, but do not seek the glory that comes from the only God? The title Vicar of Christ. The letters inscribed in the Pope's mitre are these: VICAR Filii Dei, which is Latin for Vicar, of the Son of God. Catholics hold that the Church, which is a visible society, must have a visible head. Christ, before his ascension into heaven, appointed St. Peter to act as his representative. Hence to the Bishop of Rome, as head of the Church, was given the title Vicar of Christ, which is Latin for Vicar, of the Son of God. Interesting that their Latin language is both their Roman alphabet as well as their Roman numeral system collectively. So all one needs to do is spell the name Vicarius Filii Dei. As you can see on the screen, it adds up to 666. Some identify the Roman Papacy with the number of the beast, 666, from the book of Revelation, and believe that the phrase Vicarius Filii Dei, reduced to its Roman numerals, sums up to 666, where U is taken as V. Two forms of V developed in Latin, which were both used for its ancestor U and modern V. To produce 666, the sum works as follows: V equals 5, I equals 1, C equals 100, A equals 0, R equals 0, I equals 1, V equals 5, S equals 0, F equals 0, I equals 1, L equals 50, I equals 1, I equals 1, D equals 500, E equals 0, I equals 1. The grand total is 666. There are actually a dozen titles to the office of Pope, 666 individually. Revelation chapter 13, verse 17. And that no man may buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Revelation chapter 13, verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, or 666. Prophecy states that there will be a man at the head of the Church and state entity that will have a name with a numeric value on it. That number will be 666. The Vatican government must always have a pope stand as the leader. When a pope dies, a new pope is elected immediately to stand in the same position as a previous pope. All popes have the exact same title in the office of pope. The Prophecy of the Popes. Jorge Mario Bergoglio, or Pope Francis, may be the final man to claim the papacy before the destruction of Rome, at least according to St. Malachi's Prophecy of the Popes. St. Malachi was an Irish bishop in the 12th century, known in the Roman Catholic Church for his work as a healer, a miracle worker, and as a reformer of the Church in Ireland. But what he is most known for today is prophecy. St. Malachi was summoned to Rome in 1139 by Pope Innocent II, and while there, he experienced a vision of future popes, which he then recorded as a series of short phrases. This transcript was then placed into the Vatican secret archives, where it lay until 1590. Malachi's prophecy consists of 12 short Latin descriptions of future popes. Each of these descriptions identifies one outstanding trait for each of these future popes. The list stretches all the way from the time of St. Malachi to the present, describing among many others, Pope John Paul II, Pope Benedict, and finally Pope Francis. In many ways, these descriptions were very accurate, and so have led to hundreds of years of speculation that this prophecy might just be real, and the idea that the current pope may be the last before Rome is destroyed. The final of the 112 Latin entries of the prophecy reads as follows. In the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will sit Peter the Roman, who will pasture his sheep in many tribulations, and when these things are finished, the city of 7 hills, Rome, will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people. The end. The destruction of Rome, with the Vatican itself being threatened. Many are now paying close attention to this 12th century foretelling.
Vatican City will be consumed by light.
We will destroy your 4 pillars. Vatican City will be consumed by light, a shining star at the end of the path of illumination.